Namaskar, good afternoon, Jai Mohanji, and we are welcome to yet another session, live session. Namaskar, good afternoon, Jai Mohanji, and welcome to yet another live session. I'm sorry I could not take the session yesterday as I got pulled into something which was urgent and it was just 10 minutes before 1 o'clock. And by the time I resolved the situation, it was 1:20, and then I thought, should I do it today and should I do it tomorrow? Because I was just doing some last minute prep about what I should be talking on, and that's when this call came up and I could not avoid. So, what am I going to talk about today? Because I was not well prepared yesterday, one of the things I realized is that not being prepared well on time is something that I do quite often, and that is not good to have, right? And why does it? Why does? Where does this come from? This comes from a lack of routine in one's life, or a lack of being well prepared for your day. And that is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about routine. Okay. And why is it important to have a routine? Now, I think somewhere last year when I was doing my live session, somewhere I spoke about this as well, because my guru Sri Mohanji stresses on this quite a bit. And during the last year, whatever I read on, which was whatever material I read about, where people spoke about creating excessive stress in their lives, being holed up at homes, not being able to just waking up in the morning and directly logging into their systems to go to work, and you do your whole day on the workstation, as in you kind of, the whole day goes by, you eat there, you just probably barely get time to get up and use your washroom, and then at night when your day is done, you just log off and you go to bed. So your whole day is actually sitting in your workstation. Now, I'm not saying everybody went through this, but most of my friends, because they are into corporate jobs, they had this. And kids were not kids were doing online schooling. They were, for many months earlier last year, they were even not going out. During the lockdown, they were not going out of their homes, and the same situation has come back again after a brief period where there was a little less, what should I say, restrictions in our lives, because India was on a better curve. But the same situation has come back, and maybe it will be there for the next 2 months or so. So what will take us through this, and how can we be more productive? I think that is where the routine comes into the picture. And when we are continuously doing things from the house, we don't have a wake up time, we don't have a eating time, we don't feel like getting ready, because we can spend the whole day in a pair of pajamas or shorts, and we can just keep on changing our tops depending on whether we are taking a Zoom call with video or we are taking a call without video. So this is one of the most common reasons I've heard from my friends and family for not being or being themselves all through the day. Now, I am not saying that is right or wrong. Obviously, you can be as comfortably dressed. I think that is not important. What is important is to do things as per a time. And why is it important? I was reading somewhere, and I really liked this quote. I was reading somewhere that time has memory and spaces have energy. Now think about it. It's a very deep statement. Time has memory, spaces have energy. Which is why they say that we have, over the years, thousands, millions and thousands of years, when mankind have developed, we have devised a schedule. There are days in a week, and there are hours in a day, and then we have a wake up time, we have a morning breakfast time, then we have a snack time, then we have a lunch time, we have an evening meal time, and then we have dinner. Then within this we have obviously office hours and school. So every institution that you would see would have working hours and non-working hours, because when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, then the body, the muscles in the body, the memory in the cellular memory, they create imprints that this thing should be done in this particular way. And obviously there are other scientific reasons behind it, about waking time, about eating time, about sleeping time, to do with the sun and how you follow the sun. But this is one of the things that I read and it made sense to me. Similarly, the author also said that, mentioned that spaces have energy, which means that when you are sitting in an office and working, you are more productive because everybody around you is working, and therefore you can be more focused. Nowhere I am debating the fact that people who have been working from home have not been productive. I'm not saying that. I'm sure in the last 1 year things have happened. Global markets and economy have not collapsed to the way that people were expecting it to be, and all because of the fact that human beings are most adaptable or malleable or ductile in their nature, and therefore they have adapted to the situation, and they are equally productive. However, it has created a sense of fatigue in people's lives, because you are sitting at home. You probably, if a man is working, the wife is working in a different role, the kids are doing school from home, the elders are at home, so there is a lot of different energies around you, and therefore you're not completely focused. So it creates, so you have to give so much of more time to focus, which creates a sense of fatigue. Now nobody can deny, and therefore a routine again can take away from that sense of fatigue. So coming back to this author and the statement that time has memory and spaces have energies, which is why again schools, students study more, bond better. There are colleges, there are hospitals, there are institutions, or even for that matter, when somebody wants to practice spirituality in its true sense, then more often than not, who's very serious, more often than not, and if they're following a master, the master would say, why don't you go and spend some time in the ashram, because the ashram has a routine of waking up, of meditating, of chanting, of having your meal, of doing your chores, of retiring for the day. So there is a routine that you follow. Now when this obviously lockdown started in April or end of March 2020, for the first 2-3 weeks even I went out of routine. I would just wake up at any hour, and the whole day I would just do things off and on. Yes, there was a bit of volunteering that I was doing for various organizations, especially for the migrant workers, because they were having a tough time getting back to their homes at that point in time. But apart from that, there was nothing else that I really set a goal, because I suddenly felt that whatever professional pursuits I was pursuing did not make. I mean, it's abruptly come to an halt, and I don't know what's the future, what are the next steps, and we as human beings are very used to next steps. So when we don't see the next step, we get demotivated. So I could not put a milestone. I could not put the next steps in my head, and therefore I went out of a routine. And that's when Shri Mohanji called me up one day and said that, would you like to be part of an initiative called Early Birds Club, where we generally want some people to come together and instill a sense of purpose and into people's lives. And you drive this initiative where we wake up early, we set an example, and we set a routine for people, and then set the tone for the day so that they can go and be more productive in their days. This was a global initiative which we launched across the globe. Um, and as part of it, the idea was to motivate more and more people across the globe, whether it's adults, whether it's teenagers or children, to actually set a routine for themselves by waking up early, contemplating on what they want to do, planning their days, and then therefore um, getting on with their day with more energy. Now that is one of it. I mean, I'm not saying you really have to do it, but that was the thing. But setting a routine is not always about this. I'm not saying that all of us have to wake up at 4:30 or 5 to feel productive. I'm sure there are people who can wake up at 9 a.m. also and be equally productive. But however, there are some things that they do right, and one of them is definitely a well planned day, and setting some objectives for themselves. So routine is more about you thinking what you want, how you want to plan your day. It's not about someone's scriptures or some author who's written some books and you follow that. I'm not saying that is what it is. Obviously many of us get motivated or inspired when we read real life experiences, which is what I'm sharing with you right now, or when we talk to people, friends who have done it, and learn from them. But the idea at the end of the day is you get to know yourself, get to set your own schedule, and in that schedule there should be an element of, or rather, let me put it this way. We feel, based on all the interviews that we have done, all the people we have spoken to, that there are 3-4 things which are very important in a routine. One is adequate sleep, Two is proper meal, regular intervals, I would say so. I'm not saying that every day you need to be really to the T, but at least a schedule of a proper meal. Some days you can cheat, but and three is physical exercise in some form. Even if you are confined to your homes, find a time and the same time every day if you can. If you don't have other obligations during that time, some days may be an what should I say, exception, but try and maintain a schedule for some amount of physical activity. I would say at least 1 hour for 4 times a week, and if you can't, then probably for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, 5 to 6 times a week. So make that time for a physical activity, and the fourth element, which I think is very important, and again I would say people should try it. Try small, start with small intervals, and then gradually increase your intervals, is meditation. Meditation is like therapy for the brains. We are continuously trying to chase something. We are continuously mm, bombarded with information from around us, whether it's social media, whether it's our friends, whether it's family, and there's so much of processing. The brain is always processing something or the other. Some conflict happens, somewhere things don't go right, and the brain is continuously at work. Even when you go to sleep, I mean, I do that, and I've been last 1 year trying to really switch off from my social media or my mobile, say half an hour, 45 minutes before I go to sleep. And when I wake up in the night, even if it is for a glass of water or inadvertently I wake up, I try not to look at the mobile phone. When I wake up in the morning, even though the alarm sets off on the mobile, and I mean, most of the days I don't need an alarm. Even then, there is an alarm which is set, and I don't want to look at the mobile. But there is this element of curiosity which really takes over, and I get so much attached. I mean, I get so much attracted to looking at that one WhatsApp message, and then one follows another, and third and fourth, and it's not what you want to do. So I have been practicing it for a year, and this is one thing I wanted to ask my friends and connections today, that if anybody has been successful in detaching themselves from their devices or social media accounts 1 hour before the sleep and maybe half an hour after you wake up, then please share those tips on in the comment section today. I think it would be useful for a lot of us. It would be really, really useful. It is something I have been trying to do, and it is something which is necessarily required. So that is also a part of the routine, that you switch off from the external environment and draw yourself more internal and look it inside. So in the morning we talk about contemplation when we wake up, and um, if some of us want to do some meditation, chanting, we do it. Chanting, because again it creates an energy, it's repetitive. Anything which is repetitive in nature has been proven to create energies internally, and therefore if the chants are powerful, which is linked to any scriptures or any of the meaning and energy, and then therefore it grounds us and it improves our energy to function better during the day. So there are sciences behind it, but without getting into too much of that, this has worked, and it has consistently proved that chanting and meditation in the morning on a repetitive basis has been able to improve one's clarity, vision, and thought process. Now, once you do that, we kind of advise that you do spend some time in contemplating or contemplation in the morning, which is about what has happened, what has not happened, or what has happened, right, wrong. Again, right, wrong, for me, it's a personal thing. I feel is very subjective, but something which has mattered to you, something which has impacted you, how it has, and what could have been done better so that it wouldn't have impacted you the way it did. So these are the things that one should necessarily contemplate on. If there is something that one wants to do for a long period of time and have not been able to plan about it, then that time in the morning is a time to think about it and plan better. That is also a part of contemplation. If there are some scriptures that you have been wanting to read for a long time, or some masters that you've been wanting to follow and you've not been able to make the time, those are the books that we say you read early in the morning. At night, we ask you to switch off so that you can draw more internally, think about how the day went. If you had made a plan in the morning of how you would want to do your day, then compare against it. What went wrong? The idea is, again, is not to analyze too much. I mean, I don't want a system where people, it's called, don't do paralysis by analysis, but a little bit of thought as to how you have fared against your goals. Again, we human beings are very goal centric, and when we have a goal, we can compare against it. We tend to perform better. That's about it. So when we get into a habit of this routine, we stop procrastinating. Now, procrastination is another topic that I want to deal with separately, because I am somebody who is largely into procrastination, and I kind of want to come out of it, but I have not been. I'm still in the process, so I would deal with that subject separately. But uh, talking about this whole thing, the only message that I would like to give out before we start the chant for today is the fact that uh, do try to create a routine for yourself, and those routines need not be very professionally crafted routines through some consultant or through some coaches, but something that you think would fit for you. And if you are confused as to what would be the right thing for you, you can read around, you can talk to your friends, your family, you can even write into me, you can comment, and we can have a chat on personal message. But it is important, and you know when it's more so when I read this book, I kind of really got very attached to the statement that time has memory and spaces have energy. And so true it is. Like, if you think of anything in your life, anything that is linked to a time that you do every day, you'll see how much more productive you are, and your body also responds in a particular manner. Similarly, uh, when you go to office, or when you go to a temple or a church or a mosque, suddenly there is that energy within you to kind of become more devotional. When you go to a hospital, you feel empathetic or sympathetic because the energy around is such. When you go to a school or a college or an institution, you kind of become more focused, and your whole attention is on how to achieve the goal that you have gone there for. So similarly, when you come home, it should give you a sense of your personality and your being, and therefore your home itself has energy. And how do you create that energy? So with that note, I think yeah, I've taken a lot of time on this topic. Comments welcome. Any thread for discussion welcome. Even if somebody doesn't want to discuss openly, we can always discuss on Messenger. And with that, we'll start our chant. We will do the 108 times Gayatri Mantra. Those who want to join in with me, I would be happy. If you don't want to join in now, you can listen to the vibrations. If you don't have the time right now, you can listen to it later. However, do get into a habit of regular chanting. It does improve your energy level. If by faith you're not if you, by faith you have any other chants, that is absolutely okay. It doesn't have to be the Gayatri Mantra. Whatever you are connected to, you believe in, and whatever is your faith. Okay, so with that, a few deep breaths, and we'll center our energy and ourselves, and we will start. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. And the last three chants we'll recite it a little slowly. ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्. Yeah.
Hello. Hope you all are well and fine all this week during Corona and COVID. These days people are also getting a lot of Corona and COVID. Please stay at your homes and be safe for a little while. And come on, you can start playing and having fun after some days.
Okay, I was getting a little, I was getting into a trance during the chant today. While it is absolutely okay to do that when you're doing it on your own, I just felt that I should be more energetic because I am reciting it for viewing. Sorry about that. Okay, with this, all of you have a good day. Eat well, stay safe, be at home, and I shall meet you tomorrow. Namaskar.
Namaskar.